Hi, my name is Kim Gridley with the Washington Stormwater Center. We're here today at the Center for Urban Waters in Tacoma, Washington, and we're going to talk to you a little bit about the retrofit that's happening here on the Greenroof. So Calvin, can you tell me a little bit about why the Center for Urban Waters and City of Tacoma decided to retrofit this green roof with sedums?
In 2010, it was common practice for green roofs to plant them with a mixture of grasses and plants like fescues, strawberries, and that plant mixture was intended to give a good aesthetic quality, variation across the roof, and it looked nice, but over time the grasses tend to dominate. And also the birds brought in invasive plants such as clover, and they dominated the system. And after a while, it became very costly to try to maintain the roof. So over time, the practices have changed. Now these mixed sedum plantings that you see over here are being placed on the roofs because they are tolerant to droughty conditions. They're planted in a way that they're completely established from the day one, so it really reduces your maintenance costs. The other thing that really sold us was that this would pay itself off in 3 years' time. So that sold the deal for us, and we'll get this in. It's going to look great, and the maintenance costs will be much, much lower.
Can you tell us a little bit more about the soil medium that we're standing on today? Now, is this the same soil that was used in your original planting, or is this a different soil that's being used specifically for the sedums?
Yes, this is a different soil mixture from what was originally specified for the roof. One of the reasons of that is we wanted to skim off part of the original soil so we could get rid of the seeds from the invasive plants, plus the old plant material. So we're supplementing it with this mixture for these plantings.
So I'm standing here in front of these 8 huge bags, and each one of these bags is full of the old soil media that was taken off of the green roof. This soil media has all sorts of weed seeds in it, and it was replaced with media that is free of weeds that came in bags very similar to this. You can see the size of these bags. It'd be impossible to lift these with anything other than a crane. And so that's why they used a crane to take each bag and spread out the new soil after this had been removed. I'm here with Melinda Martinez of Kidder Matthews. Kidder Matthews is the property manager here at the Center for Urban Waters. Melinda, can you tell me why is Kidder Matthews excited about this new sedum retrofit green roof?
Building got the LEED Platinum status. Everything we do maintenance-wise and management of the building is within the LEED Platinum design. So that means we can't use chemicals to control the weeds. And so everything was labor intensive. Everything had to be hand pulled, and that became very costly, Kim.
So Melinda, can you tell me a little bit about what's different about this sedum installation from the get-go in comparison with the previous planting that you guys did?
The sedum tiles are very densely planted, and there's less area for seeds to penetrate through that, or for grasses and weeds to come up through the mat. So in the long haul, we're looking forward to the lower maintenance costs and the overall sustainability of the green roof, at the same time maintaining a gorgeous roof for people to look at and enjoy.
So Melinda, if these sedums are such an effective way to do green roofs, why do you think the original designer didn't decide to use sedums in the first place?
I can only speculate, but it appeared that aesthetics as well as function were factors in the original design. And the thing about sedum tiles, they are a little bit more expensive up front for the installation. So with any project, cost is always a factor.
I'm here with Jennifer and Kendra of Nation's Roof, and they're going to talk to us a little bit about safety concerns on green roof installations.
Well, obviously, as you can see, doing installations like this, which is much like any sort of landscape or sod lane, it's a completely different animal up on a roof. And what you have right now is you have landscapers and you have roofers that are doing the work. And there's a vast difference between the two. One great example is that all of our staff are required to have 30-hour OSHA cards. This makes a huge difference between roofers and landscapers. Landscapers are not required to have those cards, and being up on a roof and being at grade are a completely different story. There's a lot of other concerns that you have to take into consideration. This is Kendra Cabrera. Kendra is our new safety coordinator, moving on up to safety officer. She has to go through rigorous training, lots of education before she can actually have that title. Kendra's going to share a little bit about the difference in this roof in particular, on what our safety concerns are and what you really have to watch for, as well as having all of this crew up here and kind of what has to happen when you have all of these people with no training that are inexperienced in safety. and how to meld all the trades together, and in this roof in particular.
Okay, so my job at Nations, I work on the roof, but I'm also the safety coordinator. So my job for this project was to set up safety, make sure that our employees were going to be safe. The parapet walls are at a height that's acceptable to not wear harnesses, and have ropes and lanyards for fall arrest or fall restraint. There's 2 sections of this roof on either end that are leading edges and have no parapet walls, so we have warning lines set up, and all of our employees know that they cannot pass those warning lines unless they're fully safetied up with their harness, rope, lanyard. All of our employees are required to wear personal protective equipment, our hard hats, safety glasses, gloves, our vests, and usually some steel-toed boots. But yesterday we had a humongous crane with a very wide swing zone. If you think it's not important to wear a hard hat when you're watching that thing move, it's sort of amazing, and you realize, I'm glad I'm wearing all this equipment.
Right here, we have now gotten these sedum tiles right here. We're bringing these up to the roof. Obviously, this is not a normal job where you have landscaping because we're up on a roof. So you have to think about all of the logistics of how to get all of this product to a roof and then down off the roof. We have our crane stationed right down here with our flagger. We unload them here and then distribute them throughout the roof. Yesterday, we actually had a ramp so that we could get them up and to the farthest point.
So Dale, can you tell us a little bit more about the irrigation system here with this roof?
Yes, the original irrigation was drip lined throughout the 9,000 square feet roof. We had to modify the irrigation by putting in valve shutoffs for the headers that go to the drip lines themselves and draw all the water back to the main header, and put MP3000 rotators, which shoot approximately a gallon a minute per head, and it will limit the amount of water that we are using. On the south end of the building, the MP rotators are spaced so that the reclaimed water that is being used for the irrigation is actually going back to the irrigation through 2 reclaim units, which are in the middle of the roof by the weather station. They have specific filters in them, baskets, which will send 65% of the water back to the reclaim tank, and it'll actually send the rest of it to the stormwater itself.
So Dale, I see there's a lot of bird poop on the tops of these parapets and these spikes. Can you talk to me a little bit about why you decided to install the spikes and also the maintenance of this parapet area?
What we've found is that we have a lot of birds that actually will nest near the open end areas. So what we've decided to do is put bird spikes up, because what was happening is they are actually landing on the parapet and they would poop all over the side of the building, and that's a huge maintenance cost. We found that if we put them on the outside edge, that the birds would stay on the inside where they could actually still nest without any issues. We would have to only clean the upper parapet and not the whole building side where they've made their mess.
So if I'm understanding this correctly, you're actually trying to encourage the seabirds that live here in the city of Tacoma to nest and utilize this green roof as habitat. Is that part of the LEED certification here at the Center for Urban Waters?
Yes, that's exactly right, Kim. They try to provide habitat for the wildlife of the area. They actually want them utilizing the green roof. We actually have a pair of geese that actually nest here every year, and what we found is we're having more and more seagulls nest every year. So it's doing its job, and they're welcome to do so.
So we're here on the 2nd floor at the Center for Urban Waters. This green roof was a pilot project that they planted about 9 months ago as a retrofit pilot to look at how this sedum mat configuration would work on this green roof. So as you can see, this mat is so thick that there's really virtually no way that weeds will be able to get in here. I mean, digging my finger down in here, I can't even feel the soil medium at all. All I can feel are the roots and stems of the sedums.
I'm not sure if you guys have looked at one of the sedum tiles and what makes them so effective. It's really the coconut fiber and the full coverage that makes it so that it's much harder for weeds to grow up from below and as well come in from above.
So I'm standing here with Dale Shepard outside the Center for Urban Waters in front of these massive cisterns. And you may be wondering why we're standing here. Well, the sedum roof project that we just took a look at actually has more of a function than just filtering and holding the water. It actually filters water and sends it to these cisterns where it's held for use in the toilets inside the building. Dale, can you tell us a little bit about the size of these cisterns?
Cisterns are 36,000 gallons each, which at a total of about 73,000 gallons.
And how many people work inside this building, and how many toilets are there that these cisterns are giving water to?
There are approximately 16 toilets, and they serve 3 floors in Urban Waters, and there's approximately 200 people that use them daily.